SkyWest 9912, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Taxi to parking, SkyWest 9912.
Jetstar 0738 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 25. Velocity 556 Heavy, taxi to International Terminal Bay 59.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Air India 6565, ready for pushback.
Taxiing to International Terminal Bay.
Air India 6565, hold position. Quality 1534 Heavy, pushback approved.
Holding position, Air India 6565. Pushback approved, quality 1534 Heavy. Thank you, good day, Qantas 311 Super. Thank you, quality 1534 Heavy.
Seven Tango Kilo Kilo Sierra, taxi to runway 16 left, contact tower when ready. Qantas 007, taxi to runway 16 right, contact tower when ready.
Taxi to runway 16 left, 7 Tango Kilo Kilo Sierra.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Q-Link 814 Bravo, ready to taxi. Taxi to runway 16 right, Qantas 007.
7 Tango Kilo Kilo Sierra, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7. Q-Link 814 Bravo, taxi to runway 16 right, contact tower when ready.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, 7 Tango Kilo Kilo Sierra.
Taxi to runway 16 right, Q-Link 814 Bravo.
American 72 Heavy, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, American 72 Heavy.
Speedbird 238, pushback approved.
Moonraker 1, request permission to cross runway 7.
Pushback approved, Speedbird 238.
Moonraker 1, cross runway 25.
Crossing runway 25, Moonraker 1.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, ready for pushback.
Sydney Kingsford ground, American 104, ready for pushback.
Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, hold position. Holding position, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy.
SkyWest 9912, request permission to cross runway 16 right.
Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, disregard last message. Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, pushback approved. Pushback approved, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy. SkyWest 9912, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7.
Taxiing to runway 16 right via Alpha, quality 1534 Heavy.
Qantas 007, hold position.
Holding position, Qantas 007.
Sydney Kingsford ground, American 11 Heavy, ready for pushback, requesting runway 16 right.
American 11 Heavy, hold position. Line into 280, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, line into 280.
Holding position, American 11 Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Polaris 51 Lima, ready for pushback with information Kilo, requesting runway 16 right.
Sydney Kingsford ground, SkyWest 9912, request taxi to parking.
Polaris 51 Lima, hold position. SkyWest 9912, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Holding position, Polaris 51 Lima.
Taxi to parking, SkyWest 9912.
Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha, request frequency change. Fiji 914, taxi to runway 16 left, contact tower when ready.
Taxiing to runway 16 left, Fiji 914. Sydney Kingsford ground, American 74 Heavy, ready for pushback.
Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha.
Velocity 556 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 7.
American 74 Heavy, hold position.
Holding position, American 74 Heavy.
Velocity 556 Heavy, cross runway 25. Sydney Kingsford ground, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, ready to taxi.
Crossing runway 25, velocity 556 Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Jet Airways 30 Victor Tango, ready to taxi to runway 16 left.
Jet Airways.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Air India 6565, ready for pushback. Taxi into International Terminal Bay 59 via Alpha, Golf, China Southern 301.
Air India 6565, hold position.
Holding position, Air India 6565.
Velocity 556 Heavy, give way to aircraft ahead. Thank you, Jet Airways 30 Victor Tango.
Fiji 914, request permission to cross runway 16 right.
Stand by, all Nippon 923 Heavy.
Give way to aircraft, velocity 556 Heavy.
Fiji 914, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7.
Sydney Kingsford ground, speed 238, ready to taxi to runway 16 right with information Kilo. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, Fiji 914.
SkyWest 991.
Air India 6565, pushback approved. Sydney Kingsford ground.
Pushback approved, Air India 6565.
Pushback approved, all Nippon 923 Heavy. Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Q-Link 420 Alpha Uniform, request taxi to Bay 43 at the Terminal 2.
Thank you, good day, velocity 556 Heavy.
Q-Link 420 Alpha Uniform, taxi to Terminal 2 Bay 43 via Golf.
Taxiing to Terminal 2 Bay 43 via Golf, Q-Link 420 Alpha Uniform.
Sydney Kingsford ground, FedEx 6013, ready for pushback.
Stand by, line into 280.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Papa Hotel Oscar November Golf, ready for pushback.
FedEx 6013, hold position. Holding position, FedEx 6013. Papa Hotel Oscar November Golf, hold position.
Holding position, Papa Hotel Oscar November Golf.
Fiji 914, cross runway 25.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Air India 6565, ready to taxi to runway 34 left.
Sydney.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Air India 6565, ready for pushback. Air India 6565, disregard last message.
Velocity 7009, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Taxi to parking, velocity 7009.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Air India 6565, ready to taxi.
Air Force 1 Heavy, hold position. Holding position, Air Force 1 Heavy. Qantas 007, continue taxi.
Holding position, American 11 Heavy.
Continue taxi, Qantas 007.
Air India 6565, taxi to runway 16 right, contact tower when ready.
Taxi to runway 16 right, Air India 6565.
All Nippon 923 Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7.
Sydney Kingsford ground, velocity 1528, ready for pushback.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, all Nippon 923 Heavy. All Nippon 923 Heavy, please follow instructions. Velocity 1528, pushback approved.
Flying into 280, request frequency change.
Papa Hotel Oscar November Golf, pushback approved.
Pushback approved, velocity 1528.
American 74 Heavy, pushback approved.
Pushback approved, Papa Hotel Oscar November Golf.
Pushback approved, American 74 Heavy.
Flying into 280, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, flying into 280. Sydney Kingsford ground, Sino 7837, request taxi to Bay 11 at the Terminal 3.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy, ready for pushback.
Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy, pushback approved.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Delta 330 Heavy, ready to taxi.
Pushback approved, Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Air Force 69, request taxi to parking.
Sydney Kingsford ground, SkyWest 9912, ready for pushback.
All Nippon 923 Heavy, please follow instructions. Air Force 69, taxi to parking, at your discretion. SkyWest 9912, pushback approved.
Taxi to parking, Air Force 69. Sydney Kingsford ground, Air France 912 Heavy, ready to taxi to runway 16 left.
Air France 912 Heavy, taxi to runway 16 left, contact tower when ready.
Taxi to runway 16 left, Air France 912 Heavy. Sydney Kingsford ground, velocity 1528, ready to taxi.
Velocity 1528, taxi to runway 16 left, contact tower when ready.
Sydney Kingsford ground, United 901 Heavy, ready to taxi.
United 901 Heavy, taxi to runway 16 left, contact tower when ready.
Taxi to runway 16 left, velocity 1528.
Jet Airways 30 Victor Tango, request permission to cross runway 25.
Taxi to runway 16 left, United 901 Heavy.
Jet Airways 30 Victor Tango, cross runway 25.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy, ready to taxi.
Crossing runway 25, Jet Airways 30 Victor Tango. Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy, taxi to runway 16 right, contact tower when ready.
Taxi to runway 16 right, Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy.
Air France 912 Heavy, give way to aircraft ahead.
Sydney Kingsford ground, American 74 Heavy, ready to taxi. Give way to aircraft, Air France 912 Heavy.
American 74 Heavy, taxi to runway 16 right, contact tower when ready.
Taxi to runway 16 right, American 74 Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Air Neo 1683 Heavy, ready for pushback. Air Neo 1683 Heavy, pushback approved. Pushback approved, Air Neo 1683 Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford ground, United 1210 Super, ready for pushback.
United 1210 Super, pushback approved.
Sydney Kingsford ground, Delta 330 Heavy, ready to taxi. Finnair 7837,
Sydney Kingsford ground, SkyWest 9912, ready to taxi to runway 16 right.
Finnair 7837, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Pushback approved, United 1210 Super. Sydney Kingsford ground, Air Canada 34 Heavy, ready for pushback.
Finnair 7837, cross runway 25. Air Canada 34 Heavy, pushback approved. Delta 330 Heavy, taxi to runway 16 right, contact tower when ready.
American 72 Heavy, line up and wait runway 16 right.
Number 1, cleared to land, runway 16 right, Corina 401 Heavy.
All Nippon 923 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 16 right.
All Nippon 923 Heavy, cross runway 16 right.
Crossing runway 16 right, all Nippon 923 Heavy.
Finnair 188 Heavy, exit runway when able, contact ground on the taxiway. CG 914, line up and wait runway 16 left.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Fuelink 814 Bravo, ready for departure in sequence at runway 16 right, departing west.
Line up and wait runway 16 left, CG 914. Quality 1534 Heavy, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, quality 1534 Heavy.
Q-Link 814 Bravo, hold short of runway 16 right.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy, ready for departure at runway 16 right, departing west. Holding short runway 16 right, Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy.
American 72 Heavy, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3,000 feet. CG 914, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3,000 feet. Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 left, CG 914. Q-Link 814 Bravo, line up and wait runway 16 right. Air France 912 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 16 right.
Line up and wait runway 16 right, Q-Link 814 Bravo.
Air France 912 Heavy, cross runway 16 right.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Amelia 3 Super, inbound on the ILS runway 16 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, ready for departure in sequence at runway 16 left, departing west.
Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, hold short of runway 16 left.
Holding short runway 16 left, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy.
Q-Link 814 Bravo, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3,000 feet. Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, CG 914. American 72 Heavy, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7. Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, American 72 Heavy. Line enter 280, line up and wait runway 16 right. Wilco, United 23.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 007, ready for departure in sequence at runway 16 right, departing east.
Qantas 007, your number 4 for departure.
Roger, Qantas 007.
Line enter 280, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3,000 feet. Q-Link 814 Bravo, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, Q-Link 814 Bravo.
Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, line up and wait runway 16 left.
Line up and wait runway 16 left, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy.
Line enter 280, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7. Amelia 3 Super, exit runway when able, contact ground on the taxiway.
Wilco, Amelia 3 Super. Virgin Neo 1683 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 16 right.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, line into 280.
Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy, line up and wait runway 16 right.
Line up and wait runway 16 right. Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy.
Air Jumia 1683 Heavy, cross runway 16 right.
Crossing runway 16 right, Air Jumia 1683 Heavy.
Air Jumia 1683 Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5. Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3000 feet.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5, Air Jumia 1683 Heavy. Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 left, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy.
Courier 401 Heavy, exit runway when able, contact ground on the taxiway. Jet Airways 30 Victor Tango, line up and wait runway 16 left.
Wilco, Corina 401 Heavy.
Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3000 feet.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 16 right. Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy.
Qantas 007, line up and wait runway 16 right. Jet Airways 30 Victor Tango, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3000 feet.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, United 901 Heavy, ready for departure at runway 16 left, departing straight out.
United 901 Heavy, hold short of runway 16 left. Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Line up and wait runway 16 right. Qantas 007.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, Vietnam Airlines 3 Bravo Quebec Heavy.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7. Qatari 33 November Victor Heavy.
Line up and wait runway 16 left, United 901 Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Delta Alpha Golf Victor Hotel, inbound on the ILS runway 16 right. Delta Alpha Golf Victor Hotel, wind 290 at 6, number 1, runway 16 right, clear to land. Number 1, clear to land, runway 16 right, Delta Alpha Golf Victor Hotel.
Sydney 188 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 16 right.
Qantas 007, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3000 feet.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 16 right. Qantas 007.
Jet Airways 30 Victor Tango, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7. Velocity 1528, hold short of runway 16 left. Finnair 188 Heavy, cross runway 16 right.
Crossing runway 16 right, Finnair 188 Heavy.
Speedbird 238, line up and wait runway 16 right.
Line up and wait runway 16 right, Speedbird 238.
United 901 Heavy, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3000 feet. Qantas 007, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7. Qantas 007.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, All Nippon 923 Heavy, ready for departure at runway 16 left, departing north.
Speedbird 238, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 5000 feet. Qantas 9 Juliet Super, wind 290 at 6, number 2, runway 16 right, cleared to land. All Nippon 923 Heavy, hold short of runway 16 left.
Holding short runway 16 left, All Nippon 923 Heavy.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 right, Speedbird 238. Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, United 901 Heavy.
Velocity 1528, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3000 feet. All Nippon 923 Heavy, line up and wait runway 16 left. Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 left, velocity 1528.
Line up and wait runway 16 left, All Nippon 923 Heavy.
Air Canada 34 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 16 right.
Air Canada 34 Heavy, cross runway 16 right, please expedite.
Crossing runway 16 right, Air Canada 34 Heavy.
Air Canada 34 Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, FedEx 003 Victor Golf Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 16 left.
Speedbird 238, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5, Air Canada 34 Heavy.
FedEx 003 Victor Golf Heavy, wind 290 at 6, number 1, runway 16 left, clear to land.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, speedbird 238.
Number 1, cleared to land, runway 16 left, FedEx 003 Victor Golf Heavy.
All Nippon 923 Heavy, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3000 feet. Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha, hold short of runway 16 right. Holding short runway 16 right, Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha. Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, velocity 1528.
Line up and wait runway 16 left, Air France 912 Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, FedEx 6013, ready for departure at runway 16 right, departing east.
Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha, you were already instructed to cross the runway. Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha, correction, stand by. Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha, cross runway 16 right.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Air Force 1 Heavy, ready for departure in sequence at runway 16 right, departing east.
Crossing runway 16 right, Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha. Tango Charlie Mike Kilo Alpha, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5. Air France 912 Heavy, wind 290 at 6, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading until at or about 3000 feet. FedEx 6013, hold short of runway 16 right.
Cleared for takeoff.
Delta Alpha Golf Victor Hotel, exit runway when able, contact ground on the taxiway. All Nippon 923 Heavy, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, all Nippon 923 Heavy.
Attention all aircraft, please stand by, controller change is in progress.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Scooter 11 Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 16 right.
CG 1210 Super, taxi to runway 16 right, contact tower when ready. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Air Junior 1683 Heavy, ready for departure at runway 16 left, departing east.
United 863 Heavy, wind 110 at 9er, number 1, runway 16 left, clear to land. Number 1, clear to land, runway 16 left, United 863 Heavy. FedEx 003 Victor Golf Heavy, when able turn right and contact ground, please expedite. United 23, request permission to cross runway 16 right.
Wilco, FedEx 003 Victor Golf Heavy.
FedEx 6013, wind 110 at 9er, runway 16 right, cleared for immediate takeoff, fly runway heading until at or above 3000 feet.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 right, FedEx 6013.
Air Junior 1683 Heavy, hold short of runway 16 left.
Holding short runway 16 left, Air Junior 1683 Heavy.
United 23, hold short of runway 16 right. Holding short runway 16 right, United 23. Delta 330 Heavy, line up and wait runway 16 right.
Line up and wait runway 16 right, Delta 330 Heavy.
Air Junior 1683 Heavy, line up and wait runway 16 left.
Line up and wait runway 16 left, Air Junior 1683 Heavy.
United 863 Heavy, wing able turn right, contact ground on the taxiway. Delta 330 Heavy, please follow instructions. Delta 330 Heavy, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Delta 330 Heavy.
Wilco, United 863 Heavy. Delta 330 Heavy, disregard last message. Delta 330 Heavy, wind 110 runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff, fly runway heading until it's all above 2,000 feet. FedEx 6013, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 right, Delta 330 Heavy. Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, FedEx 6013.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 12 Delta Super, inbound on the ILS runway 16 right. Going round, Scooter 11 Heavy. Delta 330 Heavy, cancel takeoff clearance, hold position. Sydney Kingsford Tower, velocity 298 Charlie Romeo Heavy, ready for departure at runway 16 right. Departing west. Air Junior 1683 Heavy, wind 110 runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff, fly runway heading until it's all above 2,000 feet.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 left, Air Junior 1683 Heavy.
Scooter 11 Heavy, contact Sydney Director West on 126.1. Contacting Sydney Director West on 126.1, Scooter 11 Heavy. Sydney Kingsford Tower, wind 110 runway 16 right, cleared for immediate takeoff, fly runway heading until it's all above 2,000 feet. Qantas 146 Quebec Foxtrot, wind 110 number 2, runway 16 right, clear to land.
Number 2, cleared to land, runway 16 right, Qantas 146 Quebec Foxtrot. Sydney Kingsford Tower, China Eastern 712, inbound on the ILS runway 16 left.
China Eastern 712, wind 110 number 1, runway 16 left, clear to land. Air Junior 1683 Heavy, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7. Air Force 1 Heavy, line up and wait runway 16 right.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, Air Junior 1683 Heavy. Line up and wait runway 16 right, Air Force 1 Heavy.
Amelia 3 Super, cross runway 16 right, please expedite.
Crossing runway 16 right, Amelia 3 Super.
Crossing runway 16 right, United 23. Qantas 146 Quebec Foxtrot, maintain slowest practical speed.
Maintain slowest practical speed, Qantas 146 Quebec Foxtrot.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Legend 627, inbound on the ILS runway 16 left.
FedEx 003 Victor Golf Heavy, request frequency change. FedEx 003 Victor Golf Heavy, request permission to cross runway 16 right.
Number 2, cleared to land, runway 16 left, Legend 627. Qantas 146 Quebec Foxtrot, I'm sorry. Qantas 146 Quebec Foxtrot, go round, fly runway heading runway 16 right.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Shamrock 234, ready for departure at runway 16 right, departing straight out.
Crossing runway 16 right, FedEx 003 Victor Golf Heavy. Going around, fly runway heading runway 16 right, Qantas 146 Quebec Foxtrot. Sydney Kingsford Tower, United 319 Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 16 left.
Qantas 12 Delta Super, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5. Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5, Qantas 12 Delta Super. I'm sorry, United 23. United 319 Heavy, wind 3007, number 2, runway 16 left, clear to land.
Number 2, cleared to land, runway 16 left, United 319 Heavy.
China Eastern 712, wing able turn right, contact ground on the taxiway. United 23, request frequency change. United 23, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5. Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5, United 23. Velocity 298 Charlie Romeo Heavy, line up and wait runway 16 right. Line up and wait runway 16 right, Velocity 298 Charlie Romeo Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Singapore 85 Super, ready for departure in sequence at runway 16 right, departing north. Holding short runway 16 right, Shamrock 234.
Velocity 298 Charlie Romeo Heavy, wind 3007, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff, fly runway heading until it's all above 3,000 feet. Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 right, velocity 298 Charlie Romeo Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Air Canada 34 Heavy, ready for departure at runway 16 right, departing north.
Shamrock 234, line up and wait runway 16 right.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Aircalin 140 Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 16 left.
Virgin 627, wing able turn right and contact ground, please expedite.
Line up and wait runway 16 right, Shamrock 234.
Roll code, Virgin 627.
Aircalin 140 Heavy, wind 3007, number 2, runway 16 left, clear to land.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qatari 054 Victor Alpha Super, inbound on the ILS runway 16 right.
Air Force 1 Heavy, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Number 2, clear to land, runway 16 left, Aircalin 140 Heavy. Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, Air Force 1 Heavy.
Qatari 054 Victor Alpha Super, maintain slowest practical speed.
Maintain slowest practical speed, Qatari 054 Victor Alpha Super.
Velocity 298 Charlie Romeo Heavy, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7. United 319 Heavy, wing able turn right and contact ground, please expedite, traffic on final.
Walker, United 319 Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Austrian 1899 Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 16 left.
Austrian 1899 Heavy, wind 3007, number 2, runway 16 left, clear to land.
Number 2, clear to land, runway 16 left, Austrian 1899 Heavy. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Singapore 85 Super, ready for departure in sequence at runway 16 right, departing north.
Singapore 85 Super, wind 3007, runway 16 right, cleared for immediate takeoff, fly runway heading until it's all above 3,000 feet. Shamrock 234, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, Shamrock 234. Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 right, Singapore 85 Super.
United 863 Heavy, hold short of runway 16 right. Holding short runway 16 right, United 863 Heavy. Sydney Kingsford Tower, United 104, ready for departure at runway 16 right, departing straight out. United 104, hold short of runway 16 right. Holding short runway 16 right, United 104. United 863 Heavy, cross runway 16 right, please expedite. Crossing runway 16 right, United 863 Heavy. Singapore 85 Super, contact Sydney departure south on 129.7.
Contacting Sydney departure south on 129.7, Singapore 85 Super.
Q-Link 2122, request permission to cross runway 25.
Q-Link 2122, cross runway 25.
Crossing runway 25, Q-Link 2122.
Q-Link 2122, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5. United 863 Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5, Q-Link 2122.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5, United 863 Heavy. Riyadh Air 130 Romeo X-Ray Heavy, maintain slowest practical speed.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 3026 Super, inbound on the ILS runway 16 left.
Air Canada 34 Heavy, please expedite. Qantas 3026 Super, wind 3007, number 2, runway 16 left, clear to land. Qatari 054 Victor Alpha Super, wing able turn left and contact ground, please expedite. Qatari 054 Victor Alpha Super, exit runway wing able and contact ground, please expedite.
Walker, Qatari 054 Victor Alpha Super.
Airplane 140 Heavy, request frequency change. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 1995 Super, inbound on the ILS runway 16 right.
Air Canada 34 Heavy, wind 3007, runway 16 right, cleared for immediate takeoff, fly runway heading until it's all above 3,000 feet.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 16 right. Air Canada 34 Heavy.
Airplane 140 Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 121.7. Qantas 1995 Super, wind 3007, number 2, runway 16 right, clear to land.
Number 2, clear to land, runway 16 right, Qantas 1995 Super.
Austrian 1899 Heavy, wing able turn right and contact ground, please expedite, traffic on
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Air India 6565, ready for departure in sequence at runway 16 right, remaining in the pattern.
Air Canada 34 Heavy, thank you, good day. Air India 6565, line up and wait run. Air India 6565, tower is not accepting pattern work at this time. Qantas 0965, wind 3007, number 1, runway 16 left, clear to land. Number 1, clear to land, runway 16 left, Qantas 0965. Riyadh Air 130 Romeo X-ray Heavy, exit runway when able and contact ground, please expedite. Wilco, Riyadh Air 130 Romeo X-ray Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Papa Hotel Oscar November Golf, ready for departure at runway 16 right, departing west.
Air India 6565, wind 30.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 16 right, Air India 6565.
Qantas 3026 Super, wing able turn right, contact ground on the taxiway. Qantas 2, wind 3007, number 2, runway 16 right, clear to land.
Number 2, clear to land, runway 16 right, Qantas 2.
Papa Hotel Oscar November Golf, hold short of runway 16 right.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Fuelink 2122, ready for departure at runway 16 left, departing north.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, F06, ready for departure in sequence at runway 16 left, departing east.
Holding short runway 16 right, Papa Hotel Oscar November Golf.
Papa Hotel Oscar November Golf, your number 2 for Air India 6565, thank you, good day.
Corporate,
Turn right.
F06, hold short of runway 16 left. Reduce speed to 210 knots, corporate 9998.
Singapore 221 Super, turn left heading 070, descend and maintain 5000.
Turn left heading 070, descend and maintain 5000. Singapore 221 Super.
Foxtrot Alpha Papa Echo Romeo, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 16 left at Sydney Kingsford. Dynasty 659, turn right heading 340.
Turn right heading 340, Dynasty 659.
Roger, Foxtrot Alpha Papa Echo Romeo. India Oscar Romeo Bravo Yankee Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, India Oscar Romeo Bravo Yankee Heavy.
KLM 800 Super, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, KLM 800 Super.
Singapore 358 Heavy, you're aligned with the wrong runway, please check runway assignment. Qantas 256 India Golf Heavy, turn left heading 350, descend and maintain 4000.
Turn left heading 350, descend and maintain 4000, Qantas 256 India Golf Heavy.
Dynasty 659, reduce speed to 180 knots.
Requesting ILS approach runway 16 right at Sydney Kingsford.
Singapore 221 Super, make a left 360.
Reduce speed to 180 knots, Dynasty 659.
Making a left 360, Singapore 221 Super.
Qantas 146 Quebec Foxtrot, turn right heading 130, descend and maintain 3000, maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 16 right approach.
Turn right heading 130, descend and maintain 3000. Maintain 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared Rails runway 16 right. Qantas 146 Quebec Foxtrot.
Dynasty 659, turn right heading 010. Expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 16 left at Sydney Kingsford.
Turn right heading 010, Dynasty 659.
Foxtrot Alpha Papa Echo Romeo, turn left heading 260, descend and maintain 8000.
Roger.
Turn left heading 260, descend and maintain 8000. Foxtrot Alpha Papa Echo Romeo. Corporate 9998, descend and maintain 5000. Maintain 5000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 16 left approach.
Descend and maintain 5000, maintain 5000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 16 left, corporate 9998. Maintain 170 knots until 5 mile final, corporate 9998. Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, scooter 11 heavy.
Air India 6565 is 1 nautical miles northeast of Bankstown at 4,700 feet, requesting radar vectors to Indira Gandhi.
Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, Singapore 35.
Air India 6565, frequency change approved, good day. Scooter 11 heavy.
Frequency change approved Air India 6565, good day.
Contacting Sydney.
Dynasty 659, turn left heading 190, descend and maintain 2000. Maintain 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 16 left approach.